Friday 29th of May 0956. Dunbar to Edinburgh Waverley, Virgin Trains East Coast, Coach E, seats 43 and 44. My sister's thirst for knowledge and miracles can wear you down at times. In March, it was all about keeping your house clean in 15 minutes a day. By April, it was all about keeping the passion alive in your marriage. She's not married, but when she heard my husband and me spitting our rage at one another one night when we thought we were alone, she booked us a trip to Windermere, took charge of our small golden son, and told us to find ourselves as a couple again. But our passion, much like my looks, is long gone, and I prefer it when we're a family. It's like when my dad would marvel at how three-legged tables were so firmly rooted on the ground, how your beer was never in any danger with 3 legs instead of 4, or a treacherous 2. Look at that, not a wobble. The train doors shut with a satisfying slam, and we creak out of the station. I show the guard our 2 together rail card. We smile out from the plastic in flattering poses. But it makes me think of the Better Together campaign, and the thought of that unholy and unnatural alliance makes me think, oh, but so much better apart. As we trundle into Waverley, the guard's reassuringly northern tones rumble the names of the stations further north still, and we step off to head south. Friday 29th of May, 10:51, Edinburgh Waverley to Oxenholme Lake District, Virgin Trains, Coach B, seats 55 and 56. Side by side, I feel the warmth where our legs touch, hip to knee. I want to lift the seat arm between us and snuggle into the tender part of him. I resist. As his gaze follows a ragged pond, a herald of the lakes we're heading for, I drink in his familiar face, each line, each fold, and I want to stroke it. I resist. A few minutes later, my restraint is rewarded with a fleeting kiss. Sitting opposite us, a father and 3-year-old girl. He is a white man, so massive and so dark around the eyes and mouth that he looks like a cartoon villain. The child whines occasionally, and when he starts to hit her over and twist her arm, I turn away to hide my tears. I am terrified to say anything in case he takes it out on her. When we get off the train, part of me stays with the little girl, wondering what he'll do to her next, and how soon she'll learn to run away from him. On the platform, I drop my notebook, and a dozen sheaves of paper from writing workshops scatter to the wind. I gather them in a mild panic, knowing that one sheet has 3 things about yourself that you don't want anyone to know. Friday 29th of May, 13:17, Oxenholme Lake District to Windermere, Trans-Pennine Express, no seats reserved. Every now and then, without thinking, I make a tiny kissing sound. When we were first together, this would bring him in unfailingly for a kiss. And no matter how quietly I whispered, "I love you," he always seemed to echo it. He's losing his hearing now. Saturday, 30th of May, 12:48, Windermere to Grasmere, Stagecoach Bus, Service 599. It's my birthday tomorrow, and he asks me what I'd like for a present. I tell my poet husband that I want him to write some lines about me. He's never written about me before. He starts scribbling in his notebook, and I hope we're writing about each other at the same time. I smell flowers and turn to see a fair, smiling woman. When we're upstairs, I smell the flowers before I see her again, and I realise it's a perfume my mother wears. I wonder how I'll feel when my mother has gone and I still smell that scent on my travels. I feel the thud in my chest, the dragging dread of the experienced mourner. In Grasmere, Wordsworth's Daffodil Garden, where slates bear the names of the donors who financed it. We giggle over the names and step lightly around the garden, noticing too late a couple on a bench, grubby white dog silent on the woman's lap. They are shrouded in a grief as palpable as low cloud over a fell. This is a garden of remembrance for some, and we've intruded on their sorrow. Feeling guilty, I stupidly try to catch her eye, and she does her best to respond. But such is the weight of her loss, only the very edge of her mouth can meet my smile. Her husband looks away, struggling to breathe. We walk away, wondering who they've lost, who the dog has so plainly failed to replace. We both know it could only be their child. Saturday, 30th of May, Ambleside to Windermere, 1811. Stagecoach bus, service 555. In Dove Cottage, a painting of Wordsworth's wife, Mary, making a neat copy of his poems. My husband's been writing haiku about Grasmere all day. My poem, forgotten. I can't write anything personal. I make a neat copy of a haiku for him, knowing, as I do it, that I am more Dorothy than Mary. Sunday, 31st of May, 12:02. Windermere to Oxenholme, Transpennine Express. Yesterday was our 6th wedding anniversary. We exchanged cards, but no bodily fluids. You're not the woman I married. Sunday, 31st of May, 12:24, Oxenholme to Edinburgh, Virgin Trains, Coach B, seats 55 and 56. Grateful for the absence of the cartoon villain. Our neighbour's dark brown skin has the healthy glow of the good, and he cradles his infant daughter, caressing each new and perfect toe as he tells her about every single sheep we pass. Sunday, 31st of May, 1508, Edinburgh to Dunbar, cross-country trains, coach I, seats 65 and 66. Our legs touch hip to knee as we roll along the final stretch of coast, and even before we get off, we see a shaft of sunlight speeding towards us, his aunt a kind blur behind him. We drop our bags to the ground. He throws himself against my belly, his father's arms wrap us tight. And I feel the edges come together as our circle closes again. Look at that, not a wobble.